Everyone, I'm Alan and I'm an addict. Well, I'm a bit disappointed there, Jamie, because you said last week, because of I like talking, we could extend the meeting tonight till 10 o'clock and then part 2 tomorrow. But so reduced only for...
Not a chance.
Thank you, Jamie, for taking the meeting tonight, and thank you for everyone coming to the meeting to make it possible. My journey, where do I start? Well, especially when I've got my family here as well. I'm probably going to have to miss a couple of bits out, but those of you who know what I'll miss out.
Yeah, we know those bits.
Well, I had an amazing upbringing from a very large family. 8 boys, 1 girl, and my parents were very strict. My father was in the RAF quite high up, and my mum was a little Irish Italian lady, and respect and everything else. And we had a really lovely family. I'm the youngest, so my father was quite elderly when I was born. Mid-50s, late 50s, going back those times was unheard of, really. My mum, she was 51, 52 when I was born. So when I went to infant school, my father had retired. So I remember going down to be picked up, and all the other kids' mums were 29, 30, and my dad had retired, and they said, "Who's that? Is that your granddad?" And I said, "No, it's my dad." But the respect my father taught me and my mother was just unbelievable. And I think looking back from day one, I was an addict. I was very addictive to stuff. It was works. If it weren't work, it was sport. The only thing I didn't do was schooling. My education was absolutely atrocious. I couldn't read and write when I left school, because my daily, from when I was young, probably 8, I used to do a milk round and a paper round before I went to school. Then I'd rush to get to school. We'd finish school, I came home, I had to make 13 beds, hoover the carpet, get the tea on the table, buttered bread, and get ready for when they come home from work. And then I was allowed out to play late at night, but never done any homework, always got away with it. My father used to, I remember him sitting there, and he'd be at the table, and you weren't allowed to interrupt him. He was reading his paper or whatever he's doing. It was quite strict. Don't interrupt me. But he was a lovely gentleman, a caring. Our family was so close. It was unbelievable. And I can honestly put my hand on my heart and say I don't think there was any drugs involved in my family that I ever saw. Whether it be all my brothers or my sister, I don't think it was ever drugs involved. There was always drink around the house, and I remember, and Kaz will probably remember, we had one of those little bars that you folded out, and I was barman at Christmas time and all that jazz. But I never touched alcohol until a very late age, actually. I didn't start drinking till I was probably mid-20s, where before working I was doing a bit of stuff. I started DJing when I was 14, and then it progressed quite a bit. Done no drink, definitely no drugs. Then I started putting road shows in for Radio 1, so that was travelling quite a bit. And I met my lovely wife, and we've been together 42 years. How the hell she put up with me, I do not know.
Great.
And I have dragged her through hell. We had an amazing time together. I decided to pack up DJing the stuff I was doing, and we just got in the car and we ended up in Saint-Tropez. And we stayed there for nearly 10 years. We got married there. And I didn't really drink. We had a water ski school, a restaurant, and we enjoyed ourselves thoroughly. And then I met this guy from Saint-Tropez. We had a bit of a bust up first of all over water skiing. Anyway, about a week later he came over and apologised, and he wanted me to teach him how to barefoot. So I said, look, I'll teach you, but you'll have to come along, and I have my own spotter and that, but if you come along to the ski school, I'll teach you. And he went, no, whatever it costs, I'll take over the boat and have you for the morning. So I went, I do 32 skiers, so it's going to be a lot of money. So he said, it doesn't matter what it is. So I arranged to pick him up outside his house in Saint-Tropez, and there was quite a few people there, and there was a celebrity there, well-known singer, and we skied, and we had a good time, and then we started meeting more on a regular basis. It became a friendship. And then one night, bearing in mind with this artist, we used to fly back from Saint-Tropez to England, go to one of his concerts, go back on his jet. It was it was amazing. Anyway, we're out one night, and I still didn't drink. I'd probably have one or two, not even, some nights I wouldn't even have one. I was a fitness freak and health freak. And I've left this club to go and get something to eat. And I went downstairs and I was getting something to eat, and opposite this night's club there's a big car park, and I saw this German's car light on, and I thought he'd left his light on, by mistake. So I've wandered over to the car and I've looked through, and there's three of them in there, and I banged on the window and I got cocaine on a CD. And I said to them, where's mine? And they said, you don't do it, dear. I said, yeah, of course I do. But I'd never done it, and I'd done that line of cocaine, and I thought, shit, wow, what an experience. Because I didn't need stuff like that to lift me up. I was quite hyper anyway, but I never forget that experience. And it wasn't really, thinking back, it wasn't a regular thing. Straight after that, it was, willy-nilly. Sometimes I'd have it, sometimes I wouldn't. Then I tried my first pill, and I'll never forget, Kaz had got one of those dancing flowers that with the music it danced to you, and I was besotted by this bloody thing dancing to me, and I'll never forget that night. So we used to come back from Saint-Tropez every winter to see my mum, see my family, and I used to work down at a water sports centre in Cambridge, but it's differently. You're going from Saint-Tropez to Cambridge in freezing cold. We had to break the ice before some people could go and ski. But the lads down there were quite lively, and we were doing drugs. If it weren't Billy Whiz, it was a bit of cocaine. If it weren't cocaine, we'd have a drink. And then it started progressing. We'd have lock-ins at the clubhouse and do a lot more drugs. And then I decided to start going back DJing again, as well as the water skiing, and it just got so bad. It was still not every night, but it was quite a few nights. And then the drink, was just, I looked awful. I was grey. But I put my family through hell. And we spoke of it the other night, because I don't know whether anyone knows Hitchin, Hertfordshire, do you? It's quite away from London. And I had a guy who was in the music industry that was bang on it, and I used to be bang on it as well. And I used to fly all over the world with him, and wherever we went, whether it be New York, whether it be Malta, whether it be Cyprus, wherever, we had a limousine meet us at the airport. We had champagne in there, we had cocaine, and you know, I thought that was cool. I thought it was good, but looking back, it was just absolute horrendous and stupid of me to do it. And then with meeting Mick, it was I'd finish DJing and I'd get in a car or get in a train to London, and we'd bang on it all night. Absolutely grey, going in. You know, you're sitting there and you can't even talk because you're so monged. Yeah, I had the balls to phone up Kaz after I'd been out all night on it and then back to his apartment. And poor old Carol would throw the kids in the car and she'd drive all the way from Hitchin to the centre of London to pick me up. And I got in that car and I'm absolutely spangled. You know, I'm grey. You know, I can't say anything because I'm slurring, and you know, she'd done it not just once, not twice. She'd done it numerous amounts of times. And you know, I used to moan if she didn't come, and I'd walk or start walking from the centre of London. And I think one day I got to Mill Hill, or Edgware Road, before she picked me up, and I was just not grateful of it. It was horrible. But that wasn't really bad. It got worse. The progression did get worse. How long's gone?
11 minutes in.
Yeah, so the cocaine drink, it didn't stop. I never wanted to stop. And to be honest then, I never really got any grief from the family for me to stop. Everyone knew I did it. And I'd got a lot of friends because of me doing it and always having stuff. But what I did do, I took everything, every single penny that we had, doing the drugs, the drink and everything else, because, you know, we sold quite a few houses in just over 2 years, and we made bundles, and that all went up my nose. And I took everything away from them. I'm getting quite emotional now, actually. And I just put them through shit. But it was always me. You know, I never thought of them, how they felt. They just went on with their life, and I just went on with mine. And I don't know how, you know, we've stayed together, thank God. You know, 42 years is a long time. I've never ever really sort of done masses of harm, as in stealing from them. I'd always borrow money and then pay it back, and you know, I was always doing this. I always had enough money to get cocaine, and it was every single day I'd either do a Henry or an eighth, religiously, and it would, you know, start in the morning, and then it would go on to lunchtime all day, and then I'd run out and I'd get some more at 4 o'clock, 4:30, and then that would run out and I'd go back out, or the guy would come outside the house and put it on the wheel of the car, and I'd walk out. And I used to hide in the garage for hours. You know, they would be sitting down having tea and watching telly, and I just wanted to be in the garage by myself. If I wasn't in the garage, I was in the bathroom just looking in the mirror for 3 hours, just in the bathroom, locked myself. I got spinal injury then, and I went into the hospital, had surgery, and alright, touch wood, it's done me good now, but getting on the tramadol and the morphine was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. But not for me, for them, because I hadn't come to rock bottom. There's a couple of funny stories, because I'd got 2 drug dealers come from Lindos, from Rhodes, and they're Albanian, and one of them's just the gangster with a shooter for the guy who's got all the money, and they phoned me to say they're over, they're going to come to Bournemouth. And I remember that I'd gone into the bedroom, and they were only about 5 or 10 minutes away, so I'd racked a big line out, and I've just gone down with a note. I've gone to start sniffing it, and Kaz has walked in the door, and she's gone whack. She's hit me. She's got hold of me by the scruff of my neck. She's picked me up, because I'm not tall anyway. My little old legs are going. She opened the door and then threw me out the door, just as these 2 guys were coming up the drive. And they looked at me and they said, "Shall we come back?" As I'm sliding across the floor. And I remember they took me out for a drink. I've even got on it again. I wasn't at my rock bottom. And then it got really bad, where I'd wait for everyone to go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and then I'd start. And I would turn the telly down so I could hear if Kaz was coming. I'd have the cocaine lined out on the thing. I'm going to slightly change this one, because my hands were like that. I got purple lips. I got eyes like they're in rabbit's eyes in the headlights of a car. Yeah, and I'm gurning like mad. Can't even talk. And I'm watching little people having fun on telly. And then Kaz would come in and catch me. I still didn't stop. It still went on. And then I sat there one night till about 4 in the morning, and I thought I could hear her coming, and I was off my nut, and I looked to the right and Kaz was there, and I did say to her, "I've had enough, I need help." But I still didn't do anything about it. I still couldn't do anything about it, because I couldn't give up. Could not give up. In fact, that morning I had to get up and have a bumper, and then it would just progress even more throughout the night, and then sort of 3 o'clock in the morning I'm absolutely spangled, and I'll get a bottle of Jack Daniels out and I'll guzzle it to try and help me sleep. And it got worse, and then Callum and Kaz had virtually given up, because I'd got no desire to stop using, and it was Sarah who really persisted and wanted me to do something. And we're just coming out of lockdown, so I'd done a few Zoom meetings, but I was just lying and cheating even on that, because I was on there. I had a CD underneath, and I was bending down doing some cocaine, then coming back up, joining the meeting. And this just went on for a few months, and it wasn't really working. And then Sarah found Cocaine Anonymous, and she arranged for me to go down, and I didn't want to go. Did not want to go. I had to have a line of cocaine before I went, and I remember I was lost. No, it was only around the corner, but I couldn't find the bloody door. And when I walked in, there was about 100 people there. Yeah, and bearing in mind I'm late. And when I opened the door, everyone's turned around and looked at me, and I'm thinking, sugar, hope there's no one here that knows me. And then straight away I saw 3 people that knew me, and I'm like panicking, because I didn't want people to know, but they all knew. And these 3 people come up to me and said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah." And they really make you feel welcome. And they said, "Look, don't worry, we're here for the same reason as what you are." So my heart went back in then, because I was really panicking. And then I went to 7 meetings a week then, and I kept on going, and I got to my week. Then I popped in to see a mate, because that was the old habits. I used to, as soon as I'd finished work or whatever, I was phone him, and I'd pop round there to pick up, and he got one there, and he said, "Al, there's one there for you." And I said, "No, I'm 7 days clean." So he said, "Go on, have it." So I did. So I've gone to the meeting the next night, obviously stood back up and got my newcomer again, and then I started losing a bit of the desire, and I was looking forward to, one, not letting my family down, but also not letting everyone down at the fellowship. And I got to 28 days, and it was on a Saturday, and I was supposed to be going to a meeting in Westbourne, and I got there at 5:30, and I'd borrowed Kaz's car, and I sat in the car park, and the dealer phones me. But I didn't know it was a dealer. He'd borrowed someone's phone and called me, and he went, "It's out." He said, "Where are you?" I said, "Westbourne." He said, "Whereabouts in Westbourne?" And I hesitated. He said, "Do you want any?" And I said, "No, I'm just going to a meeting." So as I'm sitting in the car looking out, he's come past me, seen I was there then, just asked me what car was in. I said it was in the Fiat. So he's pulled by the side of it, wound the window down. I'm talking to him, and he's gone, "I haven't seen you for a while," and everything else. I said, "Yeah." I didn't go into it too much, though, trying to stay clean. And he got a bloody Henry, threw it through a window, and then Will spun off and said, just shouted out the window, "Pay me when you've got it." Now, what's an addict do when they're not fully thing? So I sat there from 5:30 till 2 o'clock in the morning in that car park. And one of the fellowship, I was supposed to be meeting him to go and watch the boxing, and he phoned me about 11. He said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I've used." And he went, "I know." He said, "Have you got any left?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, either use it or bloody throw it." I couldn't throw it, so I used it. I then went back into the fellowship, and I wasn't really 100% on it. I was always skipped, although I'd go to the things, I don't know, something was not right. So I remember going home, and the next day, and this was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I had to get my phone, and I had to throw my phone away, because my phone would go 200 times a day. No word of lie, it would ring 200 times a day. But I had to get rid of all those numbers. Things then started changing for me. The fellowship was stronger for me. Everything was brilliant. I got a sponsor who was amazing. I've still got him. And all the people around me were brilliant. And I didn't want to let them down. I didn't want to let my family down. And then it was like that spiritual awakening that finally struck, but lifted me from stop ringing him every single day and thinking about it. And it was hard, but the 12 steps have definitely helped me 100%, because I'm 2 years clean now, and I don't know how I'd have done it, one, without my family and without everyone here. So it has been an absolutely amazing experience. And what I love coming to the meetings now as well is hearing people. I don't like hearing them saying they've fallen off, but it just shows me that people can be 8 years clean, 5 years clean, 2 years clean, and they fall off like that. And that's what keeps reminding me all the time, because I don't want to fall off. So if you are new, get a sponsor, do this 12 steps, and recovery is there, and you never have to drink and use again. I mean, I can go all over the world now and not have cocaine. There's people there that I know deal and serve up, and it's not a problem for me now. I've had cocaine in my hand now and I'm not interested whatsoever, because I want you. I'm giving back now, or I'm trying to give back what I've taken from the family, because I've put them through hell, and I'm sorry, but they've got me back now, and life is amazing, and I've got an amazing sponsor, got amazing friends, but I have got that fellowship with those at home, because it's like a fellowship at home. They're always there for me, morning, day, night, and I just can't thank you enough for it. And I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.